Ah, there we are. Hello, friends. Hello, Patriots. Sorry about the audio issue there right at the beginning. Maybe too many buttons today to play with. It's one of these days. Robert Imbriali here. Hey, I want to let you guys know, if you don't know us, we're going to tell you a little bit about us in a moment because we realize there's always new viewers coming on board and they may not know much about us at all. My co-host is probably the one you know better than me in this industry, Lewis Herms. He's been around for a while and been fighting the good fight. And oh my, the last 4 years, both he and I have been on top of this whole thing. And I guess we're still doing a little bit of the happy dance after the election last week and what we saw happen. He was down at Mar-a-Lago, got to see it in real time and got to see Trump there live, which was fantastic. And, we did our 7.5 hour broadcast on election night going through it. And literally, Lewis will confirm, we called it about an hour before the news media did. We had it that Trump had won and he was going to be the next president. So what brings us to this point here is all of that background that we've built and all the things that we've done leading up to this point. And we have to recognize, too, that the fight is not over. There's still much work to be done. It's like getting in. Okay, that's part one. Now we got to close the deal, make sure he does get inaugurated, and then from there, we're going to make a lot of changes. But I have it on good authority. There are a lot of things coming that are going to be super, super good. Let's bring in my co-host, Lewis Herms. Lewis, how you doing, my friend? Oh, he's taking a nap. Don't do it.
Oh,
Don't do it.
sorry. I was just going to shave my head up. I'm in solidarity with all the Harris voters.
Please
I can
explain to
do
me
that
how
later.
self-mutilation helps anything.
Yes, I'm not. I'm not sure, but I agree with it, and this is what I'm going to do for sure. And I am. I at this point I with them. Really fun. But next subject, please. Holy crap, that's a great one.
Well, it speaks to the power of two things. Number one, the power of the media to inform the low information types, right, who are not digging into this and not looking into it. And it's our responsibility, it's always been our responsibility to look beyond the headlines and find out what's really going on. And the other thing is we live in a social media centric society. And monkey see, monkey do, right? And that's exactly what's going on. They're seeing enough people on social media do it. They want to be part of what? Think about high school. They want to be with the cool kids. What are the cool kids doing? They're shaving their head. I want to be like that. I'm going to do the same thing. And I want to be part of it. But it doesn't really work in the same way. And they're gonna. What does it take? Hair grows what, a quarter inch a month for these women who have 6, 7, 10 inch long hair. 2 years before they get their hair back. It's not an immediate thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Some of them had very long hair
Yeah.
too. I mean, and I've seen dozens and dozens of these. Well, congratulations to all the men that do not want to have a relationship with a liberal woman. Now you can spot them from a mile away, so that's really cool. I mean, you just imagine. I'm sure the male Trump voters are just so distraught right now that they can immediately figure out that this is not somebody I want to date. There's just no common sense here, and it's just.
That's
But
right.
then again, if you voted for Harris, there's lack of common sense already, is there
That's
not?
right. Absolutely. Hey, I want to let you know one place you can go where you will not find liberal women. ScrewBigGov.com. I'm telling you, they don't hang out there. You'll find out
Boom, bada,
everything
wham,
that
boom,
Lewis
bada.
is up to, and although we are into the idea of unity, the truth is we're not into stupidity. That's a very different game. I want to bring everybody up and get them on the same page and educate them, and we're going to break the media stranglehold that it has on society. I think Trump has already made mention of that, and who's going to be the media going forward? Well, guess what? You're looking at it, you're watching it. It's going to be shows like this that will take it to the next level. And that's what we have had the vision of ever since we started. I started in 2020 doing this, and Lewis as well. Maybe even Lewis may have started before me on it. But we had this vision. And so, you know what? At some point, People are going to wake up. Enough of them are going to wake up and realize they've been bamboozled and lied to, and part of really a Project Mockingbird, if you will. And they're going to come to us because we're not doing that. We're not playing by those rules. So, screwbiggov.com for Lewis, and you want to follow me, renegademedia.tv and at Renegade Media on Telegram. We're posting up a storm, including a video that Alex Jones released this morning of a lot of women shaving their heads. If you really want to see it, there's a video there for you. So yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. How are you feeling? And I think this is probably the $1,000,000 question everybody's been asking me, and I'm sure you're getting the same question. What now? Trump is in. He won the election. What happens next? We, had posited that there would be civil unrest. There was a little bit of that on the weekend with some protests around the schools, but no damage. Really didn't amount to anything. We thought maybe that was the start of something. It seems to have fizzled out, didn't go anywhere. So it's curious, number one, how smooth, the presidential part of the election was. We're going to talk about the Arizona, Maricopa County bullshit that's going on there, certainly. But, Lewis, what happened? The election seemed to be okay on the presidential side.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. Number one, I don't want civil unrest, but I wouldn't get too excited about no civil unrest now. I think when you get closer to the holidays, when things get tight and crazy, and when you get closer to the certification of the election, I would assume that's really where things would jump off. But let's manifest and pray that there's not going to be any. That would be
Oh,
wonderful.
you imagine January 6th and it's all Democrats that show up on Capitol Hill and they really
Yeah,
storm the Capitol for real?
I actually could imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually could imagine that. So, um, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of interesting talk. There's a lot of talk that uh, Lloyd Brunson has signed an NDA, which would be a good indication that there's something positive came out of uh, his case. I've already reached out to him. I'll let you guys know because I would like to get it firsthand instead of having some God knows who out there on X telling you this,
Yeah,
which
I
they may
did
not
the same
even.
thing. I saw that post too, and I just kind of scrolled by it because it's like, okay, it's from a no-name account. What does it mean? Doesn't mean
Even the
anything.
name accounts. I called out a name account today. He's got like almost 200,000 followers, and he's talking shit about something.
Yeah.
So, they're gonna talk out of their buttholes because they need to get the likes that they've always gotten. And if they don't have the news, sometimes they make up the news, and that's why we're here. We're going to do it authentically, and so I'm going to try to verify that with Loy. I reached out to him. I'm sure he'll get back to me today or tomorrow, and we'll let you know if there's any truth to that. But in the meantime, uh, Trump's appointing a bunch of administrators into his not just his cabinet, but let's just say into his office. I'd be remiss if I weren't to say some of them are a concern,
Yeah.
but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So we have a list here from Liz Wheeler. Trump is president-elect for 2 days, so this was obviously earlier last week. And she says stock market hits a record high. Migrant caravan at our border dissolves. Actually, there were a couple that were coming up through Mexico, and Mexico turned them back. They're afraid of tariffs. Trump slapping tariffs on things they ship up to the United States. Their economy goes to zero. So they're finally, doing the right thing because now they have to. Hamas calls an end to the war. Hamas calls for an end to the war and didn't end it, but calls for it. Bitcoin hits a record high. I don't know about that. That's an interesting one. Putin ready to end the Ukraine war. Qatar kicks out Hamas leaders. That was kind of interesting. EU will buy U.S. gas, not Russian gas. We're going to export again? Really? That means we're going to drill? Interesting. Putin will sell oil in U.S. dollars. That was a big thing because the only thing backing up the U.S. dollar was the fact that it was used in the petroleum industry to buy and sell oil all across the world. That was the only thing that made the U.S. dollar the reserve currency. So that's good news for the U.S. dollar. Zelensky phones Trump and Elon begging for more money, I bet. Please don't let the money stop.
Why
Uh,
would he phone? Why would he phone Elon?
exactly.
Send me a billion, Elon.
Elon, bring your rockets over here. New York City mayor ends vouchers for illegals. This one is an interesting one because he is the only mayor that actually spoke out against the illegal migrants coming in and being dumped there in his city. So this is interesting, and you want to keep an eye on this because once the vouchers stop, then you're going to have, well, what, 200,000, 250,000 in New York City without food, without shelter. That's not going
Yeah,
to be pretty.
that nope. Theft, violence will go up, and self deportation will probably go up too. I
Probably,
suspect.
yeah. Mexico to stop migrants at the U.S. border. Well, they're protecting the wall for us. Thank you. China wants to work peacefully with us. Interesting. Big U.S. company to move out of China. I don't know which company it is. I wonder who she's referring to there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
you look at this first 48 hours, this has already happened. He's not even president yet. He just won the
well, what's
election.
what's beautiful about that list is it probably took zero phone calls. Just his presence of being back in the office enacted action on the part of other countries.
There was a story
Pretty
that he
impressive.
spoke to 70 world leaders last week already. So he may have been on the phone a lot.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think he would need to, though. That's how impressive.
Well, I think what it was is probably they already made these decisions and they're just calling him, telling him, Mr. Trump, don't beat us up. This is what we're going to do for you. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They're probably, they,
Groveling.
he said, yeah, they already have their list. But
Uh,
it's crazy. It's crazy when you go from a feckless leader to a real leader. Although, are we going to pretend? Are we going to slip back in and animal toe is real and all this stuff? Because it's hard. It's hard not to.
it is, yeah.
Um, because you want to go with the narrative because it keeps being told to us. But the reality is, would the Democrats ever have put probably the two worst possible candidates in history back to back and in the same cabinet? I mean, same office, Biden and Kamala. Would they really have done that? Well, I guess if they're extraordinarily arrogant, it really wouldn't matter. And they are arrogant, right?
Hmm.
Or they're being controlled. So I'm leaning towards the control thing because I just can't believe the mistakes that they've made.
Yeah, Trump had said several months ago, he said, don't worry about the election. It'll be fine. And we thought, okay, yeah, but we're at our level not seeing how it would be
Hmm.
fine. Emerald Robinson
Hmm.
was really off the deep end before anything that was sort of an anomaly. Immediately, a lawsuit was filed and it went to court, and a lot of the judgments were ruled in our favor. So it was kind of interesting there. But then we look on the down ballot side, and oh my God, hey, San Francisco just can't get enough of Nancy Pelosi. 38 years in a row, or actually, this will be 40 by our end of our term. 38 years in a row, she has won the election because San Francisco is just a shining example of what's possible in America.
Sarcasm recognized. It's
Wow.
well, but but California is a complete fake vote. You and I were on the phone and we're saying, I wonder what percentage of California they're going to call the election. And by the time we finished our sentence, they said, and we call California for Kamala Harris.
It was called
But
literally within minutes of the polls closing. It's like they had counted like literally 1% of the vote. 1% was counted and they called it for Harris already. Now, what they didn't call is any of the down ballot. They're still counting apparently in California.
yeah, but of course, it's just it's I need to go home, right, because it's so ludicrous.
It is.
And here's it's the good news and the bad news, folks. The good news is, okay, Trump's in. We'll see what they try to mess around and play with, but Trump's in. So that's great news for us. The bad news is the deep state is still affecting several thousand elections. I want
They really
everybody to
are.
hear this. Several thousand elections countrywide. Arizona would be great, though. I do. I if I'm going to be honest, I didn't think that was going to happen in the first 4 years anyways. I thought that would probably matriculate into his 5, 6, 7th year. which didn't happen right away. So that would be his public 5, 6, 7 year is coming up starting
Right.
next year. So
Yep.
we'll see what happens. But I sent him the open letter to President Trump, and I can tell you right now, it's literally as we speak going viral on X. So that's good. People are resonating with this, and they must think it makes a lot of sense. So we'll see where that goes. I do like that RFK put out to We the People to apply for cabinet positions. I love that because we the people need to be more involved. And of course, I'm reserved in thinking that, or hoping that this just isn't just a ploy to make us feel good. I do really think, based on President Trump's speech in 2017 on January 20th, where he said he gave it back to we the people, I do believe that's where it's going.
Right.
And there's maybe we can go over it tomorrow, but I started really digging into the original Nasara documents, Robert, the
Hmm.
ones that were supposed to go through Congress. And a lot that's in there is really teed up of what President Trump and RFK Jr. are speaking about right now. So that will be fascinating to watch that come to fruition.
Yeah, RFK Jr. did a video from outside the USDA building. He says, "I'm standing outside the USDA building, and thanks to Donald Trump, soon I'll be inside that building." And he promised change after change after change, decoupling the USDA from the big ag, if you will, the companies that provide all these pesticides and all the rest of that. And they want to do the same with the FDA, which is really important to decouple that from big pharma. If you've held a position in the FDA, you can't go back into big pharma, which is all they all do. They get those cushy jobs where they don't have to do anything and they're paid millions because they helped out big pharma so much. So they get rewarded for their efforts.
Yep.
So that's going to
I
go
think he
away.
gave think he gave it a 7 year moratorium on that.
Yeah.
Um, so, but here's the challenge, we need to take it bigger. So, President Trump's actually saying he's going to dismantle the government education system, just dismantle it. I really, with RFK Jr., would come out and say we're going to dismantle the Food and Drug Administration because I want people to step back and take a breath right now. Just hear what I'm saying because there's a lot of common sense here. Why on earth would one organization be in charge of foods which poison you and drugs that pretend to give you the cure for the food that just poisoned you?
Exactly.
Can anybody explain that to me?
It's a circular
There's
firing
no,
squad, right?
it really is.
Yeah.
So they typical Freemasonic BS, they create the problem and they give you the solution. But this is worse because they create the problem, which is the evil food. By the way, we'll have somebody on here to talk about that tomorrow. They create the problem with is the food. Their solution is the drugs, which create another problem, which are side effects, which create another problem because they're going to go to more drugs.
Right.
So it's all in intentional, and it is one of the most scandalous things on the planet is the FDA. They are the security arm for big pharma and big agriculture. That's who they are. I mean, they support and don't hold accountable Monsanto from icing out local farmers if they don't buy their food. I mean,
Right.
buy their seed.
Hmm.
That's something they do, guys.
They do.
Something they do. They've gone as far as if they can get the wind to blow properly and seeds go from one of their commercial farms to an independent farm, they consider that patented food. Your place can be inspected and shut down because now you have Monsanto corn accidentally on your property because the seeds blew from a neighboring property. Just think of that. And the FDA's like, thumbs up, guys. There you go.
Yep.
So we'll have Burke deal that we have going on. Maybe I can talk about it or you can talk about it, whatever you feel like. But
Yep.
I'm just so thrilled that we're going this direction this week.
We're going to jump into that in just a minute. I just want two quick things I want to share with you. This is the breakout by religion of the people who voted. Kind of interesting. 62% of Christians voted for Trump. 56% of Catholics voted for Trump, and Biden was claiming he was a Catholic. Right? That was the deal there. And look at the Jewish number. I'm like, What
Hmm.
happened there?
Look at it close, everybody. Look at it close. 79% voted
For
for
Harris.
Harris.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Something
You guys
else, 10% of the
do the
electorate.
math.
Yeah. Yeah. We're thinking that has to be because so many of the Jewish population is in banking and Wall Street and lawyers and accountants and all the rest of that kind of thing. That has to be
Hollywood,
that.
Planned
Hollywood.
Parenthood.
Yeah. It has to be more by profession than by religion, but it kind of breaks out that way as well. And yeah. 72% with no religion voted for Harris.
Hmm.
Interesting, huh?
That's it. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. You don't have any religion, you don't have any morals? Well, that's okay. And then there's one more chart that we can go over really quickly here. Are you, white people, 55% broke for Trump. Only 12% of blacks vote for Trump. Hispanics went way up at 45, so they're picking up on what's going on. 38 of Asian, so Asian don't quite have it yet. American Indian, really high, 64%, and anything else is 50-45.
So that's interesting. Let's keep that on the screen real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So majority for Trump for anything other than Asian, Hispanic, and Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that totally makes sense. Uh, he got American Indians, Native Americans, so that's fantastic. The Asians, I would actually suspect that the Asian number would have been higher, um, but we have to remember too, Robert. These are based on fake polls, fake ballots, right? So the Latin number, Hispanics of 45%. That's phenomenal. That's the highest in since they've been tracking this, if I recall
It's
properly. It
historical high,
actually,
yeah, exactly. Yep.
yep, it beat. I think it beat President Bush by 4%.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about that, though, guys, is again, consider that there's a lot of fake ballots in there. So that would mean that Hispanics are probably over 50% for Trump. Um, Others are well into 50%. It's probably at 80% or more for American Indians. Could be 90, right? He's probably whites are probably 65 to 70%. Blacks are probably closer to 20%. If you want, those are real numbers because of all the fake ballots that are in there. Um, from these groups. That's a fascinating chart though, and it just shows you the direction so the Democrats have completely lost control. Just I'll give you one statistic. If the Democrats or I'm sorry, if Republicans win 10% or more of the black vote, they always win. So just that 2% there should tell you the direction that things are going. I think that's very low. I'm actually very, very surprised at
Yeah,
that
well,
one.
like you said, the numbers aren't accurate. They're just kind of you're rough because there's a lot of fake ballots in there. There are a lot of people who shouldn't have been voting who voted. When they put a fake ballot in, do they know the religion? Do they know the nationality? Do they know? You know what I mean? They'll just put
Well, yeah,
whatever
you're
in.
right. And the fake ballots come from where? They come from the inner cities. That's where they do this stuff. It's in the cities, the inner cities, so they're heavy Hispanic and black in the inner cities. So I'm sure those are skewed fake votes that they put through.
Yep, yep. All right, we
Interesting.
have. We're going to jump over to Andrew for most of the show, and then we'll be back after Andrew's video. Just to let you know, guys, Andrew was not available during showtime this morning. Our guest, Andrew Hatfield, is going to introduce you to in just a moment. So we pre-recorded this morning, and Lewis and I kept the same clothes on. So I have to tell you, we
Yeah.
woke up, we got dressed, and we didn't get redressed for it. So it looks like it's the same, but just not trying to fool you. Just let you know that we did record this earlier. And Andrew is really interesting. He's raised in northern Indiana, near the University of Notre Dame. He graduated high school with a college degree, associate's degree in 2019. Very, very young. What, 24, I think he said, Lewis?
Yes, exactly.
He's 20.
Turning 24, I
Yeah,
believe.
he's
Yeah.
24. He went on to receive a certification in blockchain strategy and cryptocurrencies from Oxford University. I think that's in the UK, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now focused on quantum technologies. This guy's 24. Conducting open source investigation, turning his inner patriot, seeking truth in all levels and information, wherever it may be. It's really a lot of fun to see the young generation taking off, and that's what we're doing this week. Is we're bringing in some younger folks, and you want to see positivity in terms of what it's going to be, what our kids are going to be left with, what our grandkids are going to be left with. Well, that's why we're bringing this to you. So we're going to go ahead and roll this interview, and then we will be back after the interview is done, and we'll have a bit of a chat, and we'll wrap up for the day. Watch this. Friends, we have a special guest for you. They have to bring to the table. It is close to my heart because I was always one of these people, very young and very wise at the same time. And Andrew is certainly that, if nothing more. And he's got so much to share. Literally has thousands of hours of content he wants to share with us. But we don't have that much time today. So we're going to get the best of the best for you today. And let's bring on Andrew and let's bring back Lewis. Here we are. Andrew, welcome.
Good afternoon, Robert. Good afternoon, Mr. Lewis. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. So thank you so much for inviting me onto the Screw Big Network stream today and this special edition of the Young Guns cast. I am honored to be considered a young gun, but it's all a part of the great journey that is this experience and this quantum shift we are experiencing in our lives. And I'd like to start off by saying thank you, Mr. Lewis, for coming to my city and introducing your Unity team to our region, because I know that you weathered quite the storm to get there. And it was no easy task to make it, but you did. And the people here are grateful for the words and the passion that you shared with us. And I will always remember our first time together. And it is very nice to see it coming full circle today, being on the cast today. So I'd also like to say blessings and honor to each and every single one of our veterans on this special Veterans Day 11/11 today. Because there are so many of them who took an act of nobility to not serve the corporations, but instead to serve their families, to protect the people and our nation. And that is truly the highest honor. And there are so many today who deserve the ultimate respect. So God bless every single one of our veterans and those who served in this great mission of our lives.
Beautifully said. Hey, Andrew, let's, by the way, it was a pleasure being there. You were amazing, and we were blessed to be there. Now, let me ask you this. Let's start just so people understand. Give us kind of your journey to get to where we are.
Absolutely, sir. So I am blessed to have been born in the land of opportunity, and I recognize that. So I grew up with a loving mother, loving father, and a family. I had one brother, two sisters, and so growing up has been a traditional experience, but also unique in its own way. I went to public schools growing up, and I just want to remind everybody that I was raised Christian, and a church was pretty mandatory for me. And so, growing up, the value of family and the value of a deeper connection with our Creator was present with me while growing up. And so I'm a natural builder at heart. I loved putting Lego sets together as a kid. I would not eat or sleep until I had that thing and it was all done, every last piece put together. And, other super cool games I came across growing up, like Minecraft, that is like the most sold copy of any video game ever on Earth. It's all about building and creating what you want in the way that you see it. So, I was like, let's cut to the chase. Let's build the castles of our dreams and see what we can put together. And so, I also had like a natural radar for recognizing inconsistencies growing up and stuff like that. So along the way, I was introduced to our first desktop home computer at 10 years old. And that's when things really started to take off. And, I realized that, there is a whole world out there that I don't know about. And there's so much to explore. And that's an honor too. So since then, and merging into middle school, I started to realize that things may not be as they seem, or people are leading me to believe that they are. If you were to ask some of my educators, they might say that I was a little bit of a troublemaker, but it was all in good faith, and I was doing my best to just explore my reality and figure out what ability I have to create and to share in this experience. So by the time I reached high school, I was fortunately at a well-funded high school that gave me a laptop to take home in my backpack full time, and since then it was things like networks like YouTube and more modernly today like this Rumble network have served as a vast system of alternative education, displaying testimonies and experiences from all around the world that you really can't just get inside of one classroom or one place at one time. The World Wide Web has proven to be what I understand the greatest library of all time. And if you know how to surf it and use it correctly, it will introduce you to things that you never thought possible, but also connections and collaborations that can serve in a great way for yourself. So growing up, I recognized that, and during high school, I had become by that time certain things were not as they seemed. So I should start questioning everything. But I do pay homage and respect to my military veteran teachers in history class who told me to always do my own research. And
Yeah.
that is essentially what this has all led to today is that I had no idea just a few years down the road how critical of a fundamental operating life, life point that would be for me. So I want to give respect to those who loved me and created a safe space for me growing up. And I know that is not the case for many around the world who were not as fortunate to be born in the land of opportunity as we have been. But it's an honor to be to receive the upbringing that I did. And today I'd just like to begin to share my testimony the best way that I can and as authentically as I can. So I'll sum up my introduction there that it's been a nice journey so far, but the best is yet to come.
It is. It is. I've noticed that something that you study is blockchain. How do you see that moving forward in our future?
That is correct. So after high school was over, I had the opportunity to begin to exercise my ability to surf the World Wide Web. And so I thought online college might be a worthy route of looking into. So in 2021, that fall, I connected with a 6-week certification program hosted at Oxford University online in England, which was not only taught by 1 or 2 professors, respectively, but instead was a kind of a hybrid program between current world leaders in the cryptocurrency space, including the president of Coinbase, the founder of Solana Network, co-developers from the Ethereum network, and so on, who actually all came together for this 6-week program to each put in their little snippet about the experiences they've had in the development of blockchain networks, starting off with Bitcoin, but now evolving into a much more beautiful and quantum state. Blockchain technology was where I recognized that the financial revolution was going. So obviously, the traditional network we've grown up with, in the U.S. dollar, that is a pastime system of control, and it's losing its control as we speak. So now I began to say, okay, well, there's going to be a system that will host the freedom future for the people to transact and trade on Earth. And it would appear that blockchain seems to be one of those systems. So by doing so, I recognized that, joined that program, and was effectively able to pass the class, but just get my very beginning into what is now a wide spectrum of comprehension in blockchain technologies for our future of financial freedom. So essentially, blockchain is now a decentralized system as opposed to centralized networks, which previously controlled our ability to trade. These decentralized systems and blockchain technology is going to host the platform that will allow us to formulate that future into trading for freedom purposes and without a jurisdiction of entities who would like to maybe control the way that we trade and transact with each other. So this is truly a gateway network and a keystone for the future of our finance.
Andrew, do you see blockchain being able to used in, say, stock trading, of voting? How about even where people can start to pick a law or a rule and vote on that independently, not just in a general election? Do you see a future for blockchain in those avenues?
That is a correct assessment, Mr. Lewis, because blockchain is not only for money or cryptocurrencies, respectively. Blockchain is a more fundamental system for operations on all kinds of ledgers, including voting systems. And I mean, a grocery list is an example of a ledger, right? A receipt is a ledger. The blockchain applies to every single ledger and every single category on planet Earth, respectively. So voting, one of the most important of them all, certainly, because that'll be one of these systems in which we as the people are able to share our voice and make our vote for our futures heard and known. So there are effectively already papers and reports built for advocating blockchain voting systems, and that is in development currently as we speak. And there is a very good likelihood that by the next election, 2028, or maybe shortly before or after that, our systems for voting in our country and other countries worldwide will be hosted on blockchain systems as well.
Can we explain how that would benefit us versus what we're dealing with now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the benefits include the immutability. Basically, by that meaning, and you can understand for obvious reasons why that was, myself included. But being able to learn about how blockchain can revolutionize the trust and the security element of being able to bring faith and trustworthiness back into systems again makes it one of the most applicable solutions to these issues that we're dealing with.
That's fascinating. So I want to switch gears if we're all right with that, Robert. I was reading something that you put down. I thought it was fascinating because Robert and I we dig into this a little bit. You put very simply spiritual reality versus religion.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
So the religious incorporation that we have grown up with and seen transpire over the past centuries is basically a twisted version of the original spiritual reality that we have and we know to be true. And so by that, I mean, without going down the 8-hour trail, every single one of us have a spirit. We are made up of DNA, and basically there is a code to our lives, and there is a sincere power struggle when it comes to the way that over time, every single religion, respectively, whether that be Christianity, Catholicism, the Muslim culture, every single one of those have elements that have been twisted. Perhaps it was the manuscripts that were manipulated over time or mistranslated. Those have been able to steer the mass mental focus in another direction that is not the direction that is realizing truly how powerful we are as individuals and our connection to our Creator. So by that, I mean, our spiritual reality is not the same as the religious incorporation that we have been promoted and encouraged to follow without thinking twice about it. We have so much that there is to this spiritual journey of ours, and it's unfortunate that we've dealt with the angles and the attacks from the enemy that we have inside of those incorporated religious structures. So that's the way that I would summarize that up simply. And there is a beautiful journey to be taken down the road of individual spiritual exploration as you discover what is the true history of your religion that you grew up with, what is the true status of the ownership of the incorporations that have taken hold and manipulated the story of your faith over time. So I've only begun to dive into that category myself, and I'm still learning, and there's much I still have to discover in my own spirit. So it's an honor to be able to seek the truth at all costs and in all levels when it comes to truly tuning into our spiritual reality.
That's fascinating. Can I ask real quick how old you are?
As of this year in September, I turned 24.
Wow, just fantastic. I love our future, Andrew. I really do. You and a lot of other people I talk to really give us a lot of hope that it's not lost. Now, it may have skipped a generation, it seems like, but
one or two, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right.
Right,
I
Robert?
like to say it this way that, for any of my my wise and beautiful elders who may be listening today, if you have ever said one prayer that just one young man, one member of the next generation would wake up and get it, as in come to understand the true state of our reality and our circumstances, but also formulate and figure out a way to contribute to the mission in an effective way that will bring revival to our state. I believe I am one of those members of the new generation. So thank you for your prayers, and this is just the beginning, and I intend to continue to share as best as I can to encourage all other young adults who may be listening to this cast today as well to congratulate you for tuning out of the mainstream narrative and choosing to give your time and listen to alternative networks like the Screw Big Up page here, and that there is a load of beautiful testimony and experience to be shared from our elders and from those who have lived longer in this experience than we have. So just continue to be open to everything and realize that we were all fooled, and it is no problem to admit that we have a lot of learning to do still, and that this is a blessing to receive those lessons and life experience from our past generation.
Hey, beautiful, Robert. I have two more subjects, but I'm sure you have a question here too.
Yeah, I'm really loving the fact that this young generation has come in. Andrew mentioned that he was 10 years old when he got on a computer the first time, and
Yeah, that's right.
I was 16, and the only reason it took so long is because computers weren't available before that.
Right.
And it was the same thing. It was very eye-opening when I got on the internet for the very first time in 1987.
Wow.
It just opened up a world to me that I didn't know existed. Lewis and I grew up at a time where if we wanted to learn something, it was Encyclopedia Britannica, right? We had all the volumes at the
Oh
house, and
yeah.
you got to go through that and read through and try to find it. And today's generation is coming in with unbelievable access to information right here, right in
Truly.
their hand, right?
That's
And
right.
it's not hard to imagine, this next generation coming up and being having a massive head start on us. We didn't have that. It just wasn't there for us. But it's really nice to see someone like you taking the reins here and running with it, because yeah, we're going to take this knowledge, we're going to take it to the next
Yes.
level. We talk a lot about the information explosion. That was the big thing, right, in the 90s. The information
Absolutely.
explosion, and there was so much information. Problem was you couldn't digest it all because it wasn't organized in any way. And as we're going forward, it's getting more and more organized. More and more websites are coming up, more databases, and it just makes it easier, for this new generation to dive in and really learn. And you hit right on the nose, like religion. What's that about? It's like, wait a minute, where did this all come from? What's the history of the religion? And you start asking the questions that we weren't allowed to ask as kids, right? I questioned the Catholic religion. Gosh, when I was 9 years old, I was questioning it. What is this? What's this all about? My dad said, don't ask any questions. I'm like, no, you have to ask questions, right? We weren't allowed to. But this generation, your generation, is allowed to ask these questions. Now we're going to change a lot going forward. So it's really a
Yes,
pleasure to meet
the
you
great
and to
changes
see
among us,
you there
and
with
the greatest redistribution of information
yeah,
and wealth in the world is here. And so there is absolutely nothing stopping you from beginning to exercise your ability to question and to exercise your mind power to begin to realize what we have at our disposal and the access we have now to open source everything.
right.
It is remarkable, and it should be the core principle of every single individual moving forward to look at the beautiful research that is out there, and that you can find answers to the questions that you have had maybe your entire life. And God will help to introduce you to and lead you down the direction to getting those questions answered to better the defense of your mental state, your mind, and your spirit.
Looking
Beautifully
forward to
said.
what the future is going to bring. You guys are going to grab the ball and run with it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see the trends that kids my age have been catching on to. It's like there's platforms like social media wasn't necessarily a active part of your guys' reality in the very early internet, as you mentioned, because it's a lot more of a user-friendly platform now. And so the social media is like a now standard means of social networking in my category and age group. So the way that they are collaborating it blows my mind. The way that what's trending is now raising the bar every single day. Like you wouldn't believe how there is an incentive to try and to get the most attention you possibly can, and that's all there is. That's not all there is. There is so much more to the vast network of the World Wide Web that we have at our disposal, and we're going to be able to be more fluent with that, since we started off with it as pretty much a core element of our childhood programming. They say it this way. In school, they taught me that it is like 5 times or 10 times harder to teach someone a second language as an adult than it is to be able to program it into them as in their early childhood. So in that same exact way, we are fluent on the World Wide Web, and we are exercising our ability to network much more easily than we ever before. And so that will prove to be a testament of the way in which we will use this technology that's been gifted to us by has been recovered from a hijacked status. Not in every single category or element, but most of them. And that this technology will be used as a gateway and a bridge to help us connect and collaborate more than we ever have before. And I'm honored to be a part of the upbringing and the exercise of the network effect here.
Awesome.
In regards to this and the technology, do you have any concerns with AI and / Neuralink?
Sure, and that's a great question, and you wouldn't believe the fear, uncertainty, and doubt around those things. AI was, like there's the traditional scare that, oh, it's going to become a super robot, like as in the I, Robot movie back in the Will Smith day, where they take over as a hive mind, and the people are thrown out of the king's chair, and just this super machine takes over everything. That is effectively not how this is going to happen. There is that is the negative programming side of what they'd like you to believe is going to happen, simply so that you do not realize your own power to be able to exercise the technology for yourself. That is simply what it boils down to. And so when it comes to things like artificial intelligence, there are an remarkable amount of hours and resources put into the development of these for the purpose of good, for the betterment of humanity, for the ability for people to exercise research in new ways that they never have before, and have those systems aid them in their processes of whatever that may be, business or life, to help basically co-create the experience together, but complement each other in a way that will help you to advance more quickly and more stronger. So I'm not concerned about artificial intelligence being hijacked in the way that Hollywood movies might suggest, but I am very excited to begin to collaborate with those programs in new and cool ways moving forward.
Interesting. Okay, cool. And now, I know you mentioned life code, and you kind of gave us a sneak peek at something. So I'm going to bring it up on screen here, and I'd love to go over this. This is fascinating.
Absolutely. So there are lots of uncertainty and questions around things like gematria and numerology historically, but you don't have to use those words. If you just like to really sum it up and call it what it is the code of our lives. This is life code as we know it. So I start off with my quote on top, which is that God's first language was math. And that is true and correct. Every single element of our nature around us, the leaves in the tree, the wave in the ocean, every single one of them have a numerical calculation associated with the shape, with the color, with every other element that makes up our reality as we know it. So there are numbers in everything. There's code in everything. Mathematics was God's first language, and that's how he's painted this beautiful picture and reality we're living in. So today, just as a short case study, I exercised my ability this week to look at the synchronicities inside of just the very 3 names that we use here today, one being the Screw Big Gov network, as well as the Unity team tour that we met on, Mr. Lewis, and today's special edition of the Young Guns cast. Each 3 of these have their own numerical values as a name in general. Each one of our names have a numerical value as well. So if you take a look here, I basically broke it down into 3 easy sections, and it won't take more than about 10 minutes to go over. It's very simple to read. And the QR code in the top left, if you'd like to exercise checking out a few words for yourself, that you can type in anything into the search bar, and it will bring down a drop menu of every other word and or phrase in the world that has the same equal value to your name, for example. So I encourage everybody to exercise and check this out for themselves. So just beginning with the 3 names we have here, Screw Big Gov, for example, equals 130 in simple gematria. And we use simple today for the purpose of keeping things simple. So that means A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, Q equals 17, and Z equals 26. That are as our standard alphabet's laid out. Screw Big Gov equals 130. You take the 1 plus the 3, you drop the 0, that equals 4. That's our simplification process, and 4 equals door. This network is a doorway. This network is a gateway to connection and collaboration and community. And you would be very proud to know that, Mr. Lewis, a phrase that also equals 130 in simple gematria is "we the people." That is exactly what this mission is all about. And so I think it's no coincidence at all that they are synchronized together in that way. Screw Big Gov 130, we the people, 130. Look at this, 130. We will win, 130. The secret code, 130. Correlation, 130. These elements are all correlated together, and it's God's mathematical code, and that's exactly how he's done it. So, that's right, 130. A whole spectrum of these. And to move on to the middle, Unity, the Unity tour that we met on. Unity has a value of 89. 8 plus 9 is what? 17. 17 equals Q. Q is the mission. And as you described, Mr. Lewis, Q's ultimate message was that the military has contributed to super deep, beautiful elements of the special operations mission, but it is we the people who are the final element of that mission and coming together and collaborating. And that's what this network is about. So Unity 89 equals 17. Real God Code 89. Forever 89. Delta Force 89. You and I 89. Mr. Poole, that is a popular coded messenger on the Twitter X platform that a lot of people picked up along the way, as far as myself as well. Mr. Poole 89. Look here 89. Success 89. Memory 89. I love God 89. Remember that you love God and the beauty of his creation. That's what this is about today as well. Young Guns equals 143. November 5th, 143. How beautiful. And 14 plus 3 also equals 17. I mean, there's absolutely no way you can twist the numbers and the mathematical synchronicity of God's beautiful creation here. World Wide Web, right? That's where we started, 143.
Andrew, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr.
On the
Weber.
last one, on Young Guns, you have 14 plus 3. Should it not be 1 plus 4 plus 3? Should equal 8?
Yes, that's also correct. So there is variability, and sometimes people like to break down the numbers in 2 parts or in 1 part. You could also and you identified that correctly. 1 plus 4 plus 3 would equal 8, and in this case, 8 is the number of infinity. If you turn the 8 sideways, it's an infinity,
right?
And that is that's also God's very special number. Christ in Greek gematria, I believe, is 888. He has his marking on this entire experience of ours, and it is his code and truly his beautiful language being spoken through all of these elements.
Let me add into here real quick, Robert. By the way, you took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you. Also, 17.
They tasted good, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
You brushed your teeth this morning. It's great.
I did. You're lucky. 17 is 8. Also, which is infinity, which I believe is the God number. So this is very interesting. Now, I did have a question in regards to this because I get this often. I know many people that use the gematria also they kind of pick and choose. Now, so for example, on the one under Young Guns, I think the first one on there was George Soros, was it not?
Yeah, that's also an equal value of 143, and him being a key player in the matrix of power control in our reality.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's always been fascinating to me. Now, so there's English gematria, simple gematria, and Hebrew gematria. And I know there's people that actually are out there that have challenges with 1 or 2 of them. And
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
the biggest challenge they have is with the Hebrew. I'm not sure. Maybe you can go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so there are many different kinds of numerical calculations and different kinds of gematria that we've progressively built and have manifested historically. So Hebrew gematria is just an example of one of the old, very old systems for calculations. One of the oldest being known as Chaldean numerology as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
A Hebrew gematria has to do with a more ancient calculative structure, and that's why today, for this purpose of simplicity, we just use simple gematria with our one through 26 A to Z alphabet. So it does actually take a little bit more training and research and exercising of your ability to calculate numbers, to understand the synchronicities in the older versions, as well as maybe perhaps find out why those older synchronicities might be relevant to you. But it's not to discourage at all your ability to explore God's language and the synchronicities within your reality. Numbers are supposed to be encouraging. Numbers are supposed to be positive engagement. The more you research, I believe, just the more you'll find and be fascinated as you go. And so there are false forms of, as in someone might just be, as you said, subjectively interpreting, and they can do that. But if it is the direct calculation, basically one to one, as in this does equal that, I believe there to be no miscalculation about it. It is exactly how God's painted it and intended it to be. But I've begun to myself only start to begin to calculate these alignments within my life and within this network and within all of the other elements of my beautiful experience. So I just wanted to display a little bit of that today here, and encourage everybody else to figure out what your numbers are. What does your name equal? What was the God-given name that you received, and what is it synchronized with, and how is it relevant to other pieces of your experience? And so that's all I wanted to share today. But I'm thankful that we were able to go over that, and it's truly something that everybody should look into and to begin to explore for themselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating for sure, and I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
Thank you.
Robert, what's on your mind, sir?
I looked up Renegade Media. I wanted to see. You put up the barcode there, and I went and I said, "Oh, let me the barcode, the QR code, I should say, worked." And it's really interesting because you have words that are both very positive and also words that are very negative.
True. Yes. For example, Mr. Lewis, your name, Lewis, equals 68 in simple gematria. Also, Mar-a-Lago, 68. SpaceX, 68. Wayne, 68. You came and met us in Fort Wayne. I mean, there's
Right.
you personally promoted Mr. Elon's nobility to send his SpaceX Starlink satellite network systems to the Carolina region, the same region that you aided in the efforts to bringing restoration to the communication of those people in that area. And there's nothing weird about that. Mr. Robert, 78. Kennedy, 78. Did you know you share an equal value, Mr. Robert, with Kennedy? Kennedy, 78. I mean, it goes on, and it's a fascinating subject. And so I want to, in the best way that I can, give glory to God for, his creation and our mathematical matrix that we share together, because all that we are at our fundamental value is code. We are made of DNA. If you were to print the human DNA out on paper, it would be 380,000 sheets long. I mean, we are made of code. It's in our body. It's in our existence. And so, in one way or another, that's a little bit of how I tie together my fascination with my experience of exploring spiritual reality versus traditional religious experiences. And so, this is just one way, and there's going to be so many more awesome ways to come. And so, but moving forward on this day, I'd like to bless and say thank you to all of our troops again on this special Veterans Day, and for the alignment of our new timeline that we're sharing together. And God bless Donald Trump for his achievement securing the 2024 election. And God bless you, Mr. Lewis, that you posted yesterday for the call to action and investigating the true outcome of the results of these election systems. And we will move forward into blockchain election systems in the future as well. And your efforts and our efforts together as the people are going to truly bring this manifestation of our new timeline into the other side of the greatest that is yet to come.
Andrew, how can people follow you?
So I hang out on the pretty traditional social media networks still. So you can find me on X platform, the new Twitter X, at Drew _coffee, as well as my traditional Instagram handle, which is just my name _ Andrew Hatfield. And I'd be happy to connect and collaborate in direct messages with any of you there, and see how I can aid and help you to answer some of your other questions as well.
Awesome.
So you don't have a MySpace page?
That was a little bit before my time, just by a hair, but it's a blessing to see the evolution of our World Wide Web together and how we connect and collaborate. So
It
I'm
is.
happy to do more of that in the future.
Yeah, he doesn't have a CompuServe ID either, Lewis.
But you do have AOL dial-up, so everything's fine.
There we go.
That's funny. Well, Andrew, this is fascinating. We definitely want to have you back on. Thanks for being you're our inaugural featured guest on Young Guns. So that is pretty cool, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I do have so much hope for the future when I meet young men and women in your generation, because just the exploration that you do alone will really help us, because history has been his story and now it needs to be written correctly. So appreciate everything you do. You're definitely welcome back on here. We'll leave it to Robert for final words.
You bet. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. And now we'll go back to us live. And we're back live, people. How was that? I hope you enjoyed it.
I say awesome.
I say awesome too. I think he did a really great job and really explained a lot. And there's a lot to dig into with blockchain. I know when we talk blockchain, people's eyes typically glaze over and they get all kind of, oh my gosh, I don't want. But it's the technology of the future. If you look at the internet when it first came out, and people were scared economy. They just thought it would destroy society. They had a lot of fear around it. And I was one of the early ones to jump in, internet pioneer for sure. Being online back in '84 and getting on the internet in '87, and I made my first sale online in 1989 because I knew and I saw the future. Now, blockchain, if you look at it from that perspective, is a big part of our future. So, not to be afraid of it. It can be used for good, as AI can be used for good or evil. We're just going to have to make sure that people have their morality in check when they start playing with these technologies.
Yeah, it's the old saying, isn't it, Robert?
Yep.
Whatever you input is your output.
Yep.
So if we input something benevolent, hopefully our output could be benevolent also. So we have to pay attention to that stuff. And I don't think we can avoid it. Don't think we can close our eyes. The future is upon us. It is what it is. So we'll see what happens. But I'm starting to embrace the technology and just say, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can and do good work with it. That's where I am now.
I love it. Lewis is embracing the technology. I never thought I'd
Yes.
hear those words, but I'm glad that I'm hearing them
Yes.
today.
Let me translate. Embracing means I'll hire somebody to do it for me.
Yes,
But
but
that's just
you're not running from it.
no. I'm not. No, I'm actually going to embrace it. I'm going to set up my MySpace page and get going forward on it.
Yeah, you might as well grab your name on AOL. Lewis40114 might still be available if you want to grab that.
Exactly. I'll I'll be all over it. I have to tear out of here. I have an appointment with an acupuncturist of all things, which is kind
Woo!
of cool. But I do want to real quick talk
Put the
about
turtle back in
this.
its shell. Come on.
Yes, we're talking about Mitch McConnell and the new leader of the Senate. So there's a lot of talk about the leader of the Senate right now, and you have Cornyn, Thune, and Scott are the three that are put up for this. That's the focus. And I get it that everybody's focusing on Scott because Thune and Cornyn are not Trump people. They haven't
Right.
said anything positive about Trump whatsoever. So I get it. But I think this is a deception that we really need to pay attention to. All our focus is on that. Why in the world are they even having this vote right now? That is the question I'm having. Why would they not do this after the new Senate is put in? Why are they circumventing? Again, this is what they're doing. They're circumventing what the American people would want, and they would want the new senators to be part of this vote.
Yeah, it's odd timing, isn't it?
Yes, and why is
Yeah.
and why is Scott the guy? Because he's the least bad out of the three. This is disgusting to me, and I'm really surprised Trump's not calling it out, saying, why is Mitch calling for a vote right now? This is way premature. But this is the thing happens with the internet, and is we all get on one little bandwagon. Okay, Thune bad, Corden bad. Everybody get behind Scott. He's amazing. He's the only one supporting Trump. Look at him, and I love the way Scott talks too sometimes, right? But he's got some challenges if you look at his record. Probably be okay to with the red flag initiative and some other things. But my whole point is forget the three of them for a second and ask yourself, why is this vote being done so early? Why doesn't the Senate get an opportunity to mature and get the new folk in there?
Well, they don't get sworn in until January, right? So yeah, it would be a while. There wouldn't be a vote until then, and it can operate without Senate leadership.
Well, but the Senate leadership doesn't go away until January either.
Right.
So it still exists. So run the business. This is a game to me, and and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think this is when the Senate leadership should be picked. I'm against it. I believe it should mature. You should get the new guys in there, and they should be part of the process because they were elected to do so.
And you like the secret ballot too?
What's that?
You like the secret ballot that they do?
No.
God.
It's not so secret though, thanks to Marjorie Taylor Greene and some other people that start putting out the numbers, which I like. But no, I don't like this. It's disgusting. This is not the way we're supposed to be run. And I'm shocked right now that President Trump isn't saying, wait, guys, you're a little bit premature on this vote, don't you think? Right? But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see.
Yeah,
how
well,
it
he's
plays
not in the
out.
driver's seat just yet. He's been invited to the driver's seat,
but
right?
But he's got a powerful voice.
Yeah.
You proved it by just showing all the world leaders are pretty much capitulating to him right now. So he's got a powerful voice. So if he says to the Senate, hey guys, you're a little bit premature on this, hold off. We need more than 3 people up for this vote. There's a couple things that he can say. So let's watch and see how it plays out. Very interesting though, what we're watching here.
It is.
And it's not cool, not very transparent either. So
No, not at all. But that's our
my
government.
that's my 2 cents. I try to take a different take than the mainstream social media talking points are. There's something more important here than this vote. It's the fact that they're even having the vote. To me, I'm like, wait, hold on a second. But that's me.
Going to keep an eye on it. We have to know what's going on, and that's a good point. I hadn't considered that, but it's right. There's no need for a vote now. We could wait until January without any harm done at all to the Senate. So,
Yep, zero.
Yeah.
Zero. When you had a huge influx of the people that are supporting Trump in there too, should they not have a vote? Yes, they should.
Yeah, they should.
In my point, that's my opinion. That's my 2 cents. Time to go.
Thanks, Lewis.
Appreciate it. Tomorrow, guys, we have Burt Bear, who is the youngest person ever to do a TED Talk, and he was taking down the evil Monsanto. I cannot wait to see what he has on Young Guns program. And then on Wednesday will be Laura Becker, who's detransitioning, and she's getting a lot of hate because God forbid you change your mind and then go ahead and support Trump. So she's 2 types of evil for the Democrat, liberal, Marxist way of life. So we'll be here tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Robert, continue. I appreciate you as much. A lot of love, and gotta go.
A lot of love to you, Lewis. Thank you so much. Take care.
See ya.